One of the exciting things about being plant-based or being vegan is you get to experiment and you get to try lots of new things. Now, it may sound a little daunting. Maybe you wouldn't think, oh, Thai food, I love Thai food, but it sounds like complicated to make at home. I'm gonna show you a really easy way. We're gonna make a Thai coconut red curry soup. It's so good, it's got such great flavors. Now, curry, if you're not familiar, is just, it's a gravy, it's a sauce, typically Indian-based from Indian seasonings and herbs and seasonings. So basically what I've done is I've got a lot of really great vegetables. Now you can put whatever vegetables you want. If you know me, you know that I love mushrooms, I love broccoli, I love a lot of these things. So what we did is we took some mushrooms, some broccoli, some zucchini, some carrots, some bell pepper. You can use red bell pepper, green, yellow, whatever you want, any vegetable you want. We basically just cook them down with some coconut oil. And what I love about this recipe too is it's a one pot, one and done. You just start, you build it, right? We're gonna saute down some coconut oil, we're gonna use some onion, some fresh garlic, add in your broccoli, your carrots, your chunkier, heartier vegetables. We're gonna use vegetable broth, vegetable stock, any kind you like, that's fine, right? We're just gonna build that soup on top of it. We're gonna add in our herbs and seasonings. We've got this great curry paste. Now, one important thing, if you do go to buy curry, make sure if you buy the sauce, make sure it doesn't have actual milk in it. I love Indian food. It's great for plant-based people. However, they do use milk in a lot of their things and a lot of their ingredients. So this just has coconut milk in it, so just be careful. Or you can just buy the coconut the curry paste itself. This is great. It's a great combo. So red curry, it's got a lot of really great flavor. I'm going to use a little red pepper for some extra heat. And just to add a little bit of sweetness to it, I like to use agave. You could use honey. You could use any sweetener you want. I love raw agave because it's good and it's good for you. Fresh ginger too. Now you can take your fresh ginger, you can grate it, which is fine. I do that. However, don't be afraid to buy the grated ginger in the jar. It's perfectly fine. It works great. It's got great aromatics, right? So this is really simple. I just cook those vegetables down, put the broth on top of it. I'm gonna add a can of coconut milk. Coconut milk is gonna add nice creamy texture to it without it being heavily over too creamy. And we love that coconut flavor infused. You get a lot of those Eastern, those Indian flavors coming through. Then what I did was I sauteed up some tempeh. Now tempeh is a soybean product. What's the difference between tempeh and tofu? I knew you were gonna ask that. Tempeh is actually even more healthier for you. Tempeh is made from the whole bean curd. You'll see it's the whole soybean curd. And because it's a little heartier, it's easier to get a nice crisp on this. I've just been sauteing this up with a little olive oil, a little soy sauce, get a nice crisp on it. Tempeh is great too because it's also a complete protein. Now, what's the number one thing I get asked all the time when people find out that I'm vegan or I don't eat meat or I'm plant-based? Where do you get your protein? Guess what? Calorie for calorie, beans, things like this, they have more protein than red meat, and it's a complete protein, which means it has all the necessary amino acids. So don't let them fool you and think that you have to eat meat to get protein. You don't. You can cut out the middleman, right? So I'm going to take this crispy tempeh, I'm going to add it to my soup here, and I like this because it adds a nice, a little more of a kind of a crunch, a little more of a heartiness to the soup. Although you could just serve the soup by itself. You don't have to add tempeh or tofu, but you can. You could do whatever you want. Remember, have fun with these recipes, experiment them. Recipes are just a guideline, right? It's just a jumping off point, right? Now, I do use a little soy sauce in this. You want that umami flavor. However, if you wanted to make this recipe 100% gluten-free, you could use some tamari. Tamari is basically brewed soy sauce without, there's no wheat in it. So typical soy sauce does have wheat in it, but you could make it gluten-free. So what I've done is I'm gonna take this soup, we're just gonna ladle up this. Oh gosh, I wish you could smell this. I really hope you make this and let us know, how did it turn out? Look how good that looks. It's so hearty and delicious, and this broth is to die for. The aromatics of that, make sure we get some of that tempeh in there. That's gonna soak up those juices nice and good. Now also what I've done is I also made some rice noodles. These are actually the same rice noodles that I do if I do like a sushi roll or something like that. This is really versatile, and this is a rice noodle. So again, this could be 100% gluten-free. I'm gonna do one version with just the soup, and then we're gonna serve this over some rice noodles. I like this too because it adds another layer and another complexity to this dish. Rather than just being a soup, now you have a little bit more of a meal. I'm just gonna get some of that broth in there. Oh gosh, it smells so good. This is so delicious. I'm gonna put a little extra broth over that just so that rice noodle soaks that up like that. Look at how beautiful that is and how aromatic and fragrant. I then chopped up some fresh basil. I just want to garnish this with a little bit. fresh basil. I love fresh basil. Cilantro. You could garnish this really with, again, use your imagination. Whatever flavor profiles you like, you can let your imagination run wild. And I always love to do a little fresh lime. I put a little fresh lime in the soup when I made it, just as a little squeeze on the side for that. And look at that, how beautiful that is. You have this all natural, all great, plant-based, vegetable, good and good for you, red curry Thai soup. Oh, and remember, for those of you that know, plant-based is the way to go.